Hey everyone, Daniel Levine here again from Dasher and Crank Ice Cream here in Miami. Back at the tasting room to try some more ice cream. Today I think we're going with cookies and cream. Very excited to see what we've got here because I've got a pretty interesting relationship when it comes to cookies and cream. I think it is the most overrated ice cream out there. Not that it's not good, but people are just way too obsessed with it, and there are so many other ice creams out there to try. Change my mind. Let's see. I've never gone through 5 cookies and cream ice creams before, so really excited to see maybe there's someone who's making cookies and cream ice cream in a way that will stand out. So let's do it. I did not get to pre-taste these guys before, so I'm going into this completely blind. I don't know the brands. I've never tasted any of this before, so we're going to be going through this adventure together. So it looks like the first one that we've got here looks like your typical cookies and cream. It's got an Oreo style cookie. It's got, high alkalization in the manufacturing of the cocoa. In processing the cocoa, you grind it to a powder and you can add alkali to it, a high pH powder like baking soda, right? And that will create a different flavor profile in your chocolate. And that's how they make Oreos so black, right? Chocolate's typically, a more tan color, but Oreos are like black. It's through the way that they process their cocoa. So I'm taking a look at this. It does seem to be having some good texture to it just off the bat. Lots of chunks of cookies in there, as my friend over at Sweet Melody Ice Cream here in Miami would say. This is certified stacked. Loaded with mix-ins, which is always a good sign. Some ice cream manufacturers try to cut corners by reducing the amount of mix-ins in there. So it's always nice when you see there are plenty in there. So let's go ahead and give this one a try. It is dense. I got some resistance in there, which means, as we went over in the other video, that it doesn't have as much overrun or air whipped into it. Okay, cookies and cream. It's good. Reminds me of when I was a kid. Good chunks of Oreos in there. Definitely, there's cream filling within those Oreos too, which is interesting because a lot of manufacturers don't actually use like Oreos in it. Take a look at this. That's what I like about it. So this was the big breakthrough that Ben & Jerry's had back when they opened in 1978. They realized that people like heterogeneity in their ice cream. Rather than having a uniform mix of evenly sized chunks, they opted to have fewer small chunks with sporadic pockets of chunk, right? So you're eating, and then all of a sudden you get into a vein of cookie dough, and it's just like, boom, I got cookie dough. And that's kind of what they're doing here. You see we got some big chunks of cookie scattered throughout it. It's always a good thing. Makes it more exciting on your flavor, on your palate. I would say standard cookies and cream ice cream. Let's try the next one. All right, we got ice cream number 2, and visually, huge difference. Without even tasting it, this exemplifies how not all cookies and creams are made equally. With the first one we saw just, tons of cookie pieces in there, both chunks and small pieces. And in this one, we really don't see nearly as many mix-ins in it. The ice cream looks a little gray, not a lot of specks, and look at that. So as I do love heterogeneity and I do love big chunks, but look at this one piece of Oreo here. That's massive. That's just a problem with your manufacturing process if you're letting a piece get in that big, and how it's not evenly mixed in. Maybe there's something going on with their manufacturing. I don't know who makes it. I'm very curious to see who it ends up being, but disappointed. Let's give it a taste. That's not fair. We need to give them a real shot here. Let's see. Okay, yeah, not enough mix in, man. Boom. But don't mean to be too harsh, man. This is like cream and cookies, not cookies and cream. Step up your game. All right, let's try the next one. All right, cookies and cream ice cream number 3. This one definitely looks better than the second, however, not as good as the first. But I consider it to be a standard amount of mix-in in there. The base does visually appear to be better. There's some nice striations in there, which indicate that there's a higher protein content in the ice cream. It does seem to be holding its shape well, but it doesn't have that sheen. So what that indicates to me actually is that rather than having a high butter fat, it has a lot of stabilizers, which isn't always a bad thing. It helps, preserve the foam. But let's give it a shot to see where we stand here. Okay, I see you there. That one's lighter than the rest. Definitely not as much cookies in there. Its first upfront flavor was all right, but as it sits on my palate, it's really dying off rather quickly. There's not a great finish on it. I would say it's a high overrun ice cream, meaning there's a lot of air in it, right? So it's light and fluffy, but not dense with flavor. I was talking off camera about that last one that we said. I said it was like, reminded me of cream and cookies. And I want to make a key distinction between vanilla ice cream and sweet cream, right? So this is not a vanilla base, right? Most manufacturers aren't adding vanilla in a cookies and cream ice cream. It is a sweet cream ice cream with cookies, right? So it just means that you're not adding vanilla beans or vanilla extract to it. So it's supposed to be like, dunking an Oreo in milk or cream, right? Cookies and cream. That's the flavor profile that they're going for, not vanilla with cookies. This one, just all right, but let's try the next one. Ice cream number 4. Let's see what we got here. Seems to be a nice sheen to it, indicating there's some good butter fat on there. I would say this is a great example of homogeneity instead of heterogeneity. It just seems to be even size specs all the way through. Oh, I'm glad we tasted this one. Okay. So this brings up an important role of stabilizers in your ice cream. They're typically naturally derived from like tree saps or whatever. They help prevent ice cream from melting. It helps ice cream hold its physical structure. So even as it warms, it tries to prevent it from melting. Oftentimes, home users aren't taking the best care of their ice cream. Let me just take this moment again to talk about how important proper ice cream maintenance is. It should be the last thing that you buy at the grocery store. It should be the first thing that gets put in your freezer when you get home. Be sure to put it to the back of your freezer where there's less changing in temperature, as opposed to like the front of your freezer or the door where it warms up and melts and freezes again. When you're finally ready to eat your ice cream, make sure that you're not leaving the ice cream out of the freezer for too long. This ice cream, it's very sweet. It's not too complex. There's not enough cookies in there. The more of these ice creams that I eat, the more I realize how great the first one was. That one was certified stacked, lots of cookies in there, very delicious. Let's go on to the last one. Last but not least, rounding out our cookies and cream ice cream, perhaps the saddest one yet. Geez, I did not anticipate to be this negative on cookies and cream ice cream, but I did warn you guys at the kickoff that cookies and cream ice cream is overrated. This one, barely any cookies in this. Take a close-up on it. Like, come on, this is sad. Let's get some freaking cookies. At Dasher and Crank, we have a rule. All of our cookies and cream ice cream cannot have Oreos in it, right? So there's a whole world to mix-ins that go beyond Oreos, right? Cookies make great mix-ins because they've got a great combination of crunch and chew, and they're dense medium, so they're good for flavor communication. So we typically have just a broad flavor that we call brownie cookie crunch, and it has some type of brownie, some type of cookie, and some type of crunch. We make all of our own brownies and cookies from scratch every day, and it's always different, right? Whatever we're feeling, we do. And then we take the leftovers from each day, we chop it up and put it in a sweet cream base. So in the realm of cookies and cream, a lot of these major manufacturers are kind of phoning it in, only using Oreo-style cookies. But that's where local manufacturers can really make a big difference. So wherever in the country you're from, go to a local mom and pop ice cream shop. I'm sure they're making some amazing flavors from scratch with a lot of love and showing cookies and cream more respect than these guys. But let's give this last guy a try. I don't even know what to make of this. This is is this a prank one? Like, what is this? I don't even know. Its texture is not creamy. Its flavor is off. Some of the worst ice cream I've ever had in my life. And I don't take that comment lightly. This is really bad. Wow, I did not expect to actively dislike any ice cream that we tried today. I'm not a snob. Ice cream's ice cream, let's, not get too pretentious here. That's just not good ice cream. So without further ado, let's rank these guys. To my surprise, the first one that I sampled was far and above better than everyone else. It had a ton of cookies in there. There was heterogeneity in the size of the cookies. You had small guys, so you had that chocolate flavor profile going all the way through. And then every now and then you would get into a pocket of cookie. That was really great. The cookies were soft and a little chewy. It didn't have any crunch, but hey, you can't really expect that with a supermarket ice cream. This cookies and cream, very good, number one. Yeah, let me taste it again. I'm eating a lot of ice cream today. Okay. If you're gonna have cookie and cream ice cream at home, maybe do something to, amp it up a little bit. Nick over here puts bananas in his cookies and cream ice cream, which we were all making fun of him about it before. But hey, I think cookies and cream ice cream, you need to do a little something to give it some love. So maybe some hot fudge, maybe some caramel sauce or something. Number one was definitely number one. Number three was number two. What do we got here? All right, so it goes number one was number one. Number three was number two. Number two was number four. Four is three. And that fifth one was the worst ice cream I've ever had in my life. Let's see what they were. All right, let's see what we got here. Interesting. Okay, Bluebell taking it off. Props to Bluebell. They ranked number 4 on the vanilla tasting on the last time, but I mean, without a doubt, they were our top performer here. It looks like we're looking at economy brand ice creams, right? There are no premium brands like Ben & Jerry's, Talenti, or Haagen-Dazs, and that kind of shows with the quality. And also, those guys aren't making cookies and cream ice cream. I hate to break it to you. It's, as I said, it's an overrated flavor, but hey, I'm not here to judge. Ice cream, holds a very special place in people's hearts. It reminds you of when you were a kid. If you were eating cookies and cream ice cream when you were a kid, and that still gets you there, then by all means, I'm not cookies and cream shaming you here. But my recommendation, Bluebell, head and shoulders above the rest of the pack. And who is this Rebel ice cream? It's a protein ice cream. All right, yeah, so let's see if this even says, okay, it says ice cream on it. I do not believe that this product is ice cream. It was not good. I'm not necessarily convinced that this is ice cream. They say that it's ice cream on the label. However, ice cream is a protected term. There are FDA guidelines for what is considered to be ice cream. It has to have at least 10% butterfat in it. It has to have at least 16% sugar in it or something like that. For example, Halo Top is currently being sued because they're claiming that they're ice cream when they're really not. They're a frozen protein substance, right? The same way that Kraft Singles isn't really cheese because cheese is a protected term. Halo Top isn't ice cream. I don't know how that case was settled, but they definitely had a lawsuit out against them. Halo Top, if you're putting it, put it in the category that it belongs. Frozen protein shake. Good frozen protein shake. Ice cream. So my advice to you guys here is when you're eating ice cream, eat ice cream. Right? Don't try to make compromises with yourself because at the end of the day, you're not really helping yourself as much as you are. When you want to be healthy, be healthy. When you want to indulge, indulge. Don't try to, fake it with this no sugar added, keto, low carb, right? If you're not gonna eat ice cream, don't eat ice cream and don't eat this. I'm sorry, I'm sure the people at Rebel are very awesome people and, don't get me wrong, some people have, dietary restraints in which, they still want ice cream, but they can't have sugar, and my heart goes out to you guys. I don't mean to judge. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have been so hard, but it just wasn't that good. You're asking for my blind taste test. Rebel, I'm sure you're great people. I'm sorry for smashing you so hard, but that's my cookies and cream ice cream review.